Fellow Freedom fans, David Allen, Carmichael with the Faith and Freedom Show. This has been a great show. We've got Brian Moore. He's got a website, votebrianmoore.com. That's vote Brian, BRIANMOORE.com. Brian was a candidate for the Socialist Party, and I can tell you, based on what I've read of the socialist agenda on the Socialist Party USA's website, I've read all their platform. And it would take a while, and I'll probably do this Friday. Friday, Brian, if you want to listen to my comments, I'm actually going to go through some of the platforms here on the Socialist Party USA website and actually talk about it. So I'm going to kind of get into detail kind of at my own pace. Today, in honor of your giving me your time, I'm very grateful for it, because everybody hears the socialisms, the socialists, and it ends up being name-calling without looking at substance. And I think that some people will cling to a party, whether they know the platform or not, or whether they understand it or not. In fact, I've seen Republicans do this. Well, they'll chant a mantra that's given to them, whether or not they've actually weighed what the whole point was of the silly chant. You know, I mean, how much have they reviewed it on a constitutional basis? I will tell you, Brian, that the impression that I get straight up is that you don't have a socialist, a constitutional perspective, that your view of what needs to happen in American government, it goes contrary to the U.S. Constitution as I see it. And as I said on the break we were talking, it really goes right in sync with Marxist doctrine. But you said that the communists have a centralized government, police state, and you would say that it would be broken up regionally. It's really leans toward an anarchist view of the Marxist perspective. Can you correct me on that?
Well, I think that some of the thoughts of Marx are really integrated into the American Constitution. The protecting the individual rights and the freedoms of individuals, and the quality of life, and that allow them to be productive and to respect their individual talents and limitations.
Well, the only thing
isn't that reflected in the American Constitution and the rights of Americans equal under the law?
Well, it's a little bit insidious the way Marx had his discussion. If you look at the planks of the Communist Manifesto, one of the things that it does is it changes the framework and family format, and actually makes the mama worker, the dada worker, the kidda worker, and the state the parent. In loco parentis statism. And so that's what I see. In the Constitution, you have the police power to protect the rugged individual for the benefit of every individual, rather than a certain elite group who have got your perspective, who have got what they determine to be fair for the proletariat, the worker, and suddenly it justifies a strong police state to make sure that everybody is gratified. So I would say that the Constitution is based more on a perspective of law that comes revealed law, and then natural law, and then positive law in that authority structure, as being the rule of law, that lex rex in America, not the executive, not the aristocracy legislative, not the democracy, and not the judiciary. In other words, it does have a biblical framework where we're individually accountable to God to love our neighbor as ourselves, and we have the accountability comes not with the police state of the group forcing a policy, but every man doing that which is right, and only being held accountable individually when they individually violate law that is ultimately authored by God. That's my perspective.
Okay, I really don't have a comment on that, because I think you've really you've offered a complex response. I mean, I don't know where to begin. I mean, you've kind of lost me a little bit.
Okay, now that's beautiful, Brian. So, and that's what I'm trying to do here on this radio show, is I would tell you I probably lost a whole lot of people. And I think, you know what I mean? And my perspectives, and I really think the reason why I'm in this job right now is to really start to push reset on people's ideas of, in other words, Don't just get in line with a political faction. Stop and think about why you're thinking it.